Welcome back, everyone. Before we get into the next game, let's check out your spring split predictions over on Twitter. Earlier in the day, we asked which teams do you think will finish at the top of the standings and why. Our first tweet comes from Matthew15 Tekka, who writes, I think TSM will finish at the top because they have already shown big improvements from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, it's definitely very true, and they're going to need as much time as they can to synergize, and they look like they could be a playoff team and in that top 3, so I don't doubt that at all.
Given enough time, still a very young team. The next prediction is from Not Morty's niece, who says, my money's on IMT to finish on top. The guys understand each other's weaknesses, and they like each other, which keeps the team together.
I mean, it's definitely a good place to put your money on the team that's currently at the top to finish at top, so good choice there.
Right, you've
start.
Spotted yourselves a few games there on that, but I don't think anyone would argue with you after that game that we just witnessed. Now, our last tweet comes from J French Lawyer, who says, my bet is on Energy. They are new, flashy, and have a lot to prove. I feel like they have a trick up their sleeves. Well, I, for one, I'm excited to see that trick if and when it exposes itself. But I do think they have a very good backbone of the team. Impact, GBM, two very strong players that they can kind of get behind and push for those wins.
Yeah, and as the communication gets better with that team, I know that Alltech is going to be able to take a primary role on that team as well. And GBM, I just want to see more from him. I want to see him actually be very aggressive in solo, kill people in lane, and actually get these playmaking champions. Because right now we're seeing a lot of kind of wave clear, poke, stall out the lane phase kind of champions for him.
Definitely high potential energy there.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, well, now it's time to turn focus back to the Rift. And our next team, my God, Freak would be so proud of you. Our next match, Carologic Gaming versus Cloud9. Hai and Bunny Fufu continue to share the shot calling duties for the team. And today, Hai is once again stepping in as the team's general. And he'll have to help the team rebound after a surprise upset yesterday against Team Impulse.
Oh, man, it was a big upset there. But C9, they have a difficult decision from game to game, whether it's Bunny, whether it's Hai. And Cloud9, he showcased that he has world-class shot calling, but his support mechanics are not there just yet. And he wants to train Bunny as a coach for this position as shot caller and make him an elite support. But on the other hand, Bunny Fufu, he's the opposite. He's already mechanically gifted, and he just needs to get some of Hai's leadership and into him and get on that level so he's a good shot caller as well.
Right, you almost just want to merge the two of them, right?
If you could
smash them together, they'd be the ideal support for Cloud9.
Yeah. It really is such an interesting debate that people are still scratching their heads over because they're like, you know, it's shot calling. Why didn't they just tell Bunny how to do that? But the thing is, you know,
it's hard.
It's kind of an oversimplification because Hai not only is a great shot caller and he has great strategy, but he's also a great leader. And those great leaders are so rare, you know, in any sort of activity or any sort of walk of life to find. You can't really teach great leadership qualities. Yeah. The other thing I want to point on, though, for Cloud9 is something that Rush talked about coming into the season. Rush was like, you know what, I want to do self-improvement. I want to expand my champion pool. I want to be a bigger threat for the team, you know, in Champion Select and show a lot more looks than I have previously. However, we've still seen pretty much same Rush as we've always known. You know, he's going Lee Sin in Italy, he's going super hard in the jungle. You know, there are very big highs where he's invading and getting a lot of kills and getting ahead, but there are also big lows where he gets caught. So they're still looking to improve on that, I think.
He's definitely got a little different look to him. Nice bolt cut.
That's true. Yeah, physically a different look. Performance-wise, mixed results out of Rush so far. But CLG and C9, though, is a matchup that always delivers. And yesterday, CLG rebounded after their Week 1 loss, with Huhi putting up one of his strongest games so far on that Corki.
Oh, yeah. Huhi definitely crushed it yesterday. Showing up Phoenix, he went 8-0-5 on Corki. Very big for the mid lane there. There were a lot of questions. People were questioning, you know, when CLG was making these off-season changes. But their focus on teamwork has definitely shown through as well. Balls, you know, yesterday as well struggled against a substitute top laner, and now he's going up against Darshan, who's a huge split-pushing threat and constantly showing that he's looking for 1-versus-1 opportunities. So if you're not necessarily feeling confident as a top laner, Darshan is the wrong guy to go up against because he's looking to put the pressure on you and make you perform.
Yeah, Saturday, Seraph. Sunday, you got to go up against Darshan, two carry top laners. So Balls, he definitely has his work cut out for him today, but CLG as a whole, they also have their work cut out for him just at the start of the game, because in Champion Select, CLG seems to break a lot of the rules of champions, like, but they get away with it, right? They go for those.
Such a bad boy, CLG, breaking all the rules.
Yeah, there's some rules where you should be drafting wave clear, you should be drafting like some engage, but not all this initiation or these high-skilled champions together. But they make it work. But sometimes I feel like they tunnel vision on overemphasizing matchups as opposed to whole idea of what they want to do with their composition. And this is something that I think CLG would get in their own heads last year, mostly during their TSM games during the regular season, where they had something that was working for them. Like, let's just keep picking Tristana for double lift. And then it became, okay, as soon as we play TSM, it's like, different strategy. And so I think that they just don't have to game themselves. Just play your game. Don't make it too complicated.
Well, the draft should be interesting then because Cloud9 themselves have also had some funky drafts, to say the least. But as we head to the desk, we'll hear from Stixay, who says the transition into CLG's bot lane has been a smooth one.
Me and Afro get along pretty well in and out of the game. So in the game, we pretty much just clicked instantly, and we both have like a good idea what to do. I think when you put two good bot lane players together, they should be able to just kind of play well. So it doesn't take like a lot of synergy to get used to each other.
Well, we'll see if that's true, and they match up against each other here on the Rift. But we're going to check out the starting lineups to get this game started. On the blue side, Counter Logic Gaming with Darshan up in the top lane, Smithy in the jungle, who he in mid, who had a great game yesterday. Stixay and AD carry with Aframu on support, making that bottom lane.
Yeah, and on the red side, you have Cloud9 with High in the support position, but it starts with Balls in the top lane, Rush in the jungle, Jensen mid lane, Sneak on AD carry, shot calling High, and the coach, the former support of Cloud9 for many years, Lemonation.
That's true, actually. Yeah, it's been interesting that C9 has made, exactly like 1 to 2 roster changes. Now, sort of only one split apart. Like, they're one of the least changed teams in LCS. Like, they've actually still got, if you count coaches as starting players, 3 original members, maybe 4 original members from when they first joined the LCS. And it's just kind of interesting to see, actually, that very small tweaks and seeing what form Cloud9 can get back into. They were the most dominant team in NA LCS history. They actually still hold the record for best win-loss record in an LCS, with only 3 losses back in summer 2013. We'll see what form they can get back to here as they shake things out. Currently 1 and 2, though, up against Counter Logic Gaming, who have made a few changes and are actually doing quite well. Currently sitting alone in 3rd place, 2-1. And they could tie Energy for 2nd with a win here.
I know it would be a very nice start for CLG. They've had some back and forth games. Very impressive win to start the season against TSM. But then looked a little lackadaisical in their loss to Team Dignitas. And despite Huhi's 8-0-5 performance against Team Liquid yesterday, did look at times to be struggling in that game. So really CLG still looking to reprove themselves as the defending North American LCS champions, just this time without Paul Belther and Double Lift.
And as the last few bans come through, Aframu will not get to play his Bard. Corki is gone as well, who he had done so well on it. First pick from CLG, they've got to choose what's important to them.
Yeah, there's still a lot up, including the Gangplank, which by the way has been banned pretty much always. So a very logical first pick there. Very quickly responded to though with Alistair and Graves. Yeah, power picks traded pretty much right there.
First time Gangplank has been allowed in the North American LCS and was snatched up right away. Zion said, wait, are we sure this wasn't banned? We can go? Okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Gangplank was ours.
Although you could see Lemonation and Cloud9 were very ready to counter that with Alistair and Graves. Because they banned away the Bard and then picked the Alistair, they're actually targeting Aframu relatively hard with that.
Yeah, they got 2 of his best chambers off the field, and so far High has only shown that he's played Alistair so far. So if that's covering a small champion pool, or if we have the old C9, we will only play 3 champions until you make us play more than that.
Is one of them Karma?
With Lemonation no longer here, it's unlikely.
Probably not.
But Graves, we'll see where that ends up going. I know he can be played AD carry, but it's almost exclusively a top laner or a jungler. We'll see if that's Rush or Balls at the end of it all.
I feel like it almost has to be Rush. Just with the way Rush plays League of Legends.
True.
It's his style much more.
Totally true. CLG pick up 2 high-profile champions. If that jungler ends up not being Graves, then Elise is already off the field here, and the Lucian gone from Sneaky as well. Now we have seen Sneaky play some Caitlyn. That was pretty good. We've seen Caitlyn a couple more times this week as well.
Yeah, you lay down the row of traps to stop them from initiating on you. Ran with double marksman, oftentimes Corki in the mid lane. But Corki is banned this time, so it'll be more difficult to put that team together for sure.
Yeah. Ezreal and Varus are the other 2 mid lane marks we tend to see played.
Yeah.
if they want to go for that route, but plenty of options, of course, open for CLG. This will be probably another 1.5 marksman per team game.
Yeah. When they first started calling it marksman, I really didn't want to make a change because I think AD carry is very classic League of Legends. But when you start having stuff like Corki who's doing 75% magic damage,
Yeah.
I almost feel like marksman is a much more accurate descriptor.
Yeah, and especially when you start getting more on the same team.
Yeah,
Marksman
like a
jungler
jungle
just works,
thing.
makes
Yeah.
more sense than ADC jungler.
Who knows?
Kalista coming through, so it is double AD, double marksman for Cloud9.
Both
Mid lane,
work. You're allowed
yeah,
to
sure.
do either one.
I said double AD, which is true for these champions
Yeah.
here. One tank in the support role. We're going to see what Balls plays later on, but Jensen has grabbed himself Victor here. One of his better champions for sure, and CLG has to finalize their team comp.
Probably going to lock in the Warwick and the Heimerdinger. Clearly.
Almost definitely.
Yeah. But really, power pick so far from CLG, and this is where we define where the Gangplank goes, because it's probably for Darshan, but it could very easily be for Huhi.
Yeah. He does have a very wide champion pool. He plays a lot of things. He tends to play Phil in solo queue, so he actually likes getting the experience of playing almost everything. So we have to see. Trundle is locked in. LeBlanc is going to be the last pick here for CLG as well. So who gets LeBlanc? It looks like support Trundle for Aframu. Darshan will be getting Gangplank after all.
Yeah, and this is actually another one of the classic CLG team compositions right here. Smithy's probably going to go Runic Echoes on Elise. Darshan is not playing a tank. They have really their only tank threat from the support, at least early on in the game. So no real tank early on in the game because the jungler is going to go on offensive item, Aframu is support, and they're just going to try and win lanes and create wave clear pressure and get split push wins.
Yeah. And honestly, one of the best feelings in the world as a jungler is ganking with a Gangplank on your team. You have a guaranteed slow to set up Cocoon and some guaranteed damage to secure the kill. It's hard going up against Gangplank. We see him so little, but Cloud9 gets a very good matchup. I find it so hard to play Gangplank up against Fiora. Balls, matchup-wise, should do well against Darshan, even if Darshan has had a generally better last 6 months of League of Legends. This is a matchup I think Balls can do well in.
Yeah. And I love the fact that Jensen is on Victor this time. Enough messing around with Ezreal. This is a power champion for Jensen, and he can do some big work against squishy targets in this game if he can get a little bit of a lane lead on Huhi early. And by giving Gangplank through, I feel like Cloud9 got a ton of power picks on the backside.
Absolutely.
As far as trading back and forth with the Graves, the Alistair, and the Fiora, those are champions you seldom see on the same team because they are so highly contested.
Absolutely true. Plenty of engaged duels, plenty of team fight power. Cloud9 have some good champions for themselves. The squad has come together for some nice champions. CLG putting plenty of power themselves. We'll see if their rule-breaking ways in champ select will come to bite them, as right now CLG sits 2-1. And again, it could be 3-1. Zix and Elimination shake hands. And off we go into the start of the game in just a second. Now you guys at home, as always, who's going to win? Hashtag CLG win, hashtag C9 win to @LOL Esports on Twitter. And right now, we got to figure out which way these teams are headed. CLG could have one of the highest win rates in the NA LCS, or C9 could plummet down to 1 and 3. Not a spot that their fans would expect them to go to with two high-profile picks up in Rush and Bunny Fufu. But here we go into the game. CLG versus C9. Who's it going to be?
Double Corruption Potion early for the Fiora and the Gangplank. Corruption Potion, very common build for Gangplank early in the top lane. But it will take a little while for the Gangplank to get powerful. So we'll see how much Balls can do to him in the early game. It's really tricky for a melee to match up against GP, but at least Fiora can try and riposte the damage from an exploding barrel if they see the shot. So a lot of counterplay opportunities for that lane. Should be very exciting. Two people that can kill each other in the top lane.
Oh, yeah. Darshan is running deep in the defense tree. Resolve, I believe it's called. You just saw him trigger the Grasp of the Undying. Most Gangplanks I see actually also run Bandit so that they can get 10 gold off of just parlaying an enemy champion, but he's actually gone for the Lifesteal Mastery here. So 12-0-18 for Darshan, mastery-wise. That's actually very rare for a Gangplank. The 12 in Ferocity, not the 18 in defense.
Darshan breaking the rules.
Darshan is breaking the rules.
This is what they do nice places.
It's like CLG should be called Renegades. They could swap tags. It'd make more sense. Then again, I mean, they are counter logic, so I mean, they really just, it fits after all.
No one's ever told that joke before.
Well, no. It wasn't even meant to be a joke as much as just an explanation of how good their tag was, but
It's true.
Smithy Darshan will be double jungling down to the bot side with the red buff. This is both teams sending their duo lanes top side here. High ensures that CLG did not start greedy. They didn't. So High will get to lane late, and look at this, smart by CLG. They realized that, they had the wards in the river, and they will zone out Sneaky. Now he will not miss any XP, and looks like he will not miss gold either unless he's afraid of Lucian's damage. Good dodge.
I would say that's nearly a punish by CLG by not letting themselves get harassed by an invade. I think it's mainly a good read by CLG, but it doesn't actually give them an advantage. It just sets them up for less failure in a situation, but doesn't set them up for a huge amount of success.
Yeah. The one small thing it did is High did not get XP on the first 2 minions, so he will be late to level 2. And look at this. Look at all the punish they get on High right there. They know he's not even close to getting a level up here. He starts heal, so he's got no offensive pressure at all. And just look at these trades going in. High will be able to heal them up eventually, but a lot of damage at the very start of this one.
Sneaky actually dodged Stixay's Piercing Light with the Callista attack move, which is really nice.
Forever for both AD carries, otherwise pretty normal. Smithy could have gone Strength of Ages, did choose to go for Thunderlords though. And this is part of the reason why this matchup's so good. It's very easy to riposte barrels, and if you ever get a good Vital, you can do so much damage. Sneaky once again has to jump over the traffic cone. A stun on Afro, this could be too much damage! Exhaust came in just in time, but it still could be Afromu's doom. This was so close.
I was actually expecting High to flash Pulverize backwards on Afro there, and it probably would have resulted in a trade of flashes, but either way, Afromu going pillar second and going in for all those trades without necessarily being in melee range did him in a little bit at that point, and Cloud9 gets the early summoner spell advantage on what had been a disadvantaged lane.
2 summoners to 1. Great job by the C9 duo. And we'll see what kind of minion advantage that could manifest in. Trundle is going to heal back up close to full, but has to go through all his potions to do that. Stixay and Sneaky both out of potions as well. And this will actually be an equal CS game here, as those 3 will make it 21-21. Both players missed exactly 4 CS at this stage of the game.
He actually takes back an extremely early recall in the mid lane as well, going double Dorans against Jensen Victor. Typically as a Victor player, it changes a little bit when you're matching up against the Blanc, but you want at least 1,000 gold, probably 1,300 plus. 1,400 gold if you want a ward, because you want 1,000 gold upgrade on your Hex score, you want boots, and you want a pink ward, as well as being able to keep potions up. And that's very hard to do if who he backs early, really early, like a double Doran's ring, and then would almost want to force Jensen back into a buy, because he knows Jensen's going to be buying later. So by buying a very early Doran's ring, he's giving himself a lot of time with a higher build in lane.
And we'll see if that's actually going to happen right here, because right now sitting on 950 gold is Jensen, and maybe who he can make that a really awkward recall. Balls forces the first recall on the Darshan right there. Corrupting Potion is out of stacks already. Darshan may miss a little bit of CS here, and definitely doesn't have a lot to buy. Only a Sapphire Crystal and a Pink Ward and boots. It's no really meaningful combat stats. Balls actually still does not have his TP, as he was not on the correct side of the map when the laning phase started, so he may be in late. High looking for another trade. Stixay taking a lot of damage. Sneaky looking for as many javelins as possible. Gets a nice rent. Stixay down to 200 health without a summoner heal.
Fantastic trade. This instant they had a big minion wave backing them up, it meant they could go aggressive, headbutt, pulverize in using all his cooldowns up front, but if they wanted to counterattack, it wouldn't be there.
And they're already looking for the dive. Rush is already slunk around all the wards.
They know they have no heal as well. It's all about flashing away from a headbutt or pulverize and also making sure Rush can't land a Q on him. But here he goes.
Flash, headbutt, pulverize. Stixay's gone. First blood to Rush. That's what we were expecting from Cloud9 all along. And after move alone, it's going to be Rush pulling
keep
aggro.
the dive going.
He's got to be real careful. Heal goes on the wrong person, but Rush somehow lives. Sneaky will not get this kill. Doesn't even rend in time to get that before the stacks turn off of Afromu.
Yeah, dive part 1, awesome. Dive part 2, not awesome.
Little silly.
Yeah, but they still end up getting the first blood, and critically, it's also helped that High put Stixay right up against a wall, which made the end of the line, which is the Q from Graves, just super easy for Rush to get maximum damage from. Clicked it against the wall, blew him up, and first blood to Rush.
No assist actually for Sneaky. Oddly enough, he never got an attack in on Stixay during that fight. So weirdly, it's a matchup where neither AD carry gets much of a better buy. Okay, more CS for Sneaky certainly, because you know, Stixay misses all that while dead, but that could have been a much scary situation to be in as the opposing player. Sneaky will get the recurve bow and a longsword, which is still quite good, of course.
Yeah, and immediately swaps down in the lane. So CLG is actually saying, hey guys, these lanes are not going well. And it's something that actually happens very rarely for CLG, is losing the early game here. They ended up in straight up lanes, which is rare. They usually get a lane swap and then swap back and forth and make great rotations and pull ahead. This time though, Stixxay Aphromoo lost the 2v2. Darshan wasn't doing great in the 1v1, so they're immediately trying to institute a swap, but in doing so, Cloud9 can simply react.
Yeah, and it's, okay, at a certain point you kind of have to blind pick your top laners here, but Darshan makes a very obvious recall, and Ball just matches it. So, okay, the lanes got mirrored, but you still have the exact same matchup you had a second ago.
Yeah.
Easy reaction for C9. The partial freeze that CLG built won't probably turn into much. It does mean that Smithy is here to try to make a gank happen. He's on top of a pink ward, so maybe this means something. Rush is topside.
Yeah, and there's no flash and no level 6 on high or sneaky. When both these guys hit level 6, they are nearly unkillable. And yeah, there's just not the minion wave or the CC to pull this gank off right now.
It'll be multiple waves until high or sneaky hits level 6, and they know not to turn aggressive. They know Rush is topside, so C9 will not push up. The freeze actually gets broken. CLG pushes it up enough. And high, like even there, melee range of Toronto does not go for a pulverize. He knows better than to fight for this one. You can see the battle back and forth in the mid lane. Huhi already burned the ignite, and there's the gangplank. Flashed away from the stun, but Rush is already top lane. Darshan has to flash, but it might not be enough to get away. One last vital proc, and there's the kill. Rush 2-0.
Crazy coordinated play there by Cloud9. It probably was mainly convenience, but Darshan gets beasted on the instant he is trying to help out Huhi with his play mid lane. And at the end of the day, Jensen doesn't burn a single summoner. Huhi burns both of them, and Darshan falls. So a huge win cross map for Cloud9.
And Smithy can't make it into the mid lane in time either. Rush comes over, all is well. The waves get cleared. Very quick draw away by Rush, and all is well. So 1,200 gold is the lead for C9 once again. Nice juke by Jensen for a summoner heal. And C9 really crushing it early.
Yeah, and to even call back to our previous itemization talk about the mid lane matchup with Jensen, he was only able to recall on 1,000, got the upgrade to his hex score, and then recalled the—
Oh, man!
God!
Well, that'll work well for you, and now Aphromoo in a bad spot. Does have flash and exhaust. And indeed, Bird's flash get away, but good luck with this one.
I looked away for a second and he killed 2 people. They're going to go for more.
Aphromoo will survive through the red buff. Ignite is on Stixxay. High does not have any ultis to save him. He will take some damage, but he will live. And Cloud9 are eviscerating Counter Logic Gaming 5-0.
Yeah, Jensen wrecking people on Victor right there, using his flash aggressively, landing a double spell. And then that just snowballed all the way through the jungle for essentially a 3-man turret dive. Once again, Cloud9 looks like a completely different team when they make the substitution. Flash ER dead.
Jeez.
And then they also keep the Chaos Storm on Aphromoo for a while to push him down really low, which then in turn leads to Stixxay being trapped on his own under the turret.
Darshan still farming as best he can. Has the Sheen, so he's got some cooldown reduction, and he will try to put on his best carry pants. He's actually equalized the CS here up against Balls. And Darshan, definitely a very good player, but so far has been on the receiving end of a couple of ganks now. On the bad end of those. Yeah, easy blue buff transfer to Jensen. Cloud9 operating on all cylinders.
And Rush going straight through a pink ward. The question will be, do they want to throw high in?
Ooh! Whoa. Did he stop Headbutt? Yeah, Headbutt's on cooldown.
Yeah.
Immaculate timing by Aphromoo. Now a fight for the mid lane. Jensen just dodges everything. He refuses to be stunned. He refuses to be killed. No summoners, doesn't care.
Yep, also already has the makings of an Abyssal Scepter, so some nice magic resist on Jensen. That's the point Victor actually needs to reach against LeBlanc with wave clear and a Negatron Cloak. Means he generally can win trades and also outshove LeBlanc, which then stops LeBlanc from roaming.
You can see Smithy losing a couple of Raptors to Rush. Coming in, removing those little dinosaurs and saying, no, I'm the king of this jungle. Smithy walks back to the mid lane though. Jensen full health, puts the trap
Still
down,
no
has
flash.
to start running. Can he dodge Cocoon? Yes. Smithy comes in, gets chunked out. Huhi's in the fight. None of them can do anything. Oh, man! Rush cannot miss a gank. This is ridiculous. Cloud9 6-0.
Jensen is also putting his mark on this game.
Oh, yeah.
And I refuse to credit High for this play. There is so much that happens with the other Cloud9 players that is better, but there's no way I was like, yo, Jensen, body these guys 1v2, and we good. It just doesn't work that way. That's not how League of Legends works. But Jensen is playing much better this game, finishes his Abyssal Scepter, and Cloud9 is crushing.
I mean, look, when we say that Hai micromanages his players sometimes, we don't mean he's literally like playing StarCraft with like 5 mice and 5 keyboards or anything. But it's the funny thing though is Hai is such a good emotional leader for the team as well though.
Yeah.
Like if you ever listen to his team when they're behind or anything, some of it you almost give him credit for because of just the spirit lifting he actually brings to the team. I don't think he said, yo, Jensen, body these fools. That doesn't quite sound like Hai, but I mean, it's amazing what C9 does with him on the roster. Just, it feels like their players play better. It's weird.
It's true. It is. Some things just don't have true answers. And this is one of them. Either way, who he's struggling in this lane now against Jensen. Xmithy as well has switched gears. He normally does Runic Echoes. He knows he has to go tank now on Elise because he's just getting blown up by Jensen or Rush. And the high damage team of Cloud9 against a high damage team of CLG is going to be very snowbally when one team just gets damaged sooner. And at the moment, that team is Cloud9.
That team is Cloud9. The upshot is if you ever miss position, even behind as damage dealers versus damage dealers, you can win those fights. Now Rush battling Darshan, and Darshan's gonna win this fight. Rush in a really bad spot, misses the Q, gets hit by a turret as well. And so Balls has a show to keep him from chasing. And Balls wants right in, flash burn. He's gonna chase him, gets one more vital. He's got one to go, one more hit. No, he can't come in, and now who he arrives? Is Riposte available for the E? He's gotta be real careful on this one. The minion wave is there to tank all the damage. And Balls will get through the turret. Good riposte, but who he's still there. He's gonna get some damage. Now Rush shows up. Darshan can't find the urn that he wants. Again, Jensen cannot be hit by still shots this game. This pillar though will block him off, and the team is coming. Stixxay really wants this one, and this will be the kill and a Jensen. And finally a shutdown for Stixxay.
Yeah, and after a very long series of events, Jensen ends up getting caught in his own jungle because he was moving away from a gank that he wasn't really expecting because there was so much chaos going on from the rest of the map. CLG finally finding a way to hit back. It's because Darshan avoided the two-man gank very well, but even in doing so, Sneaky still was able to pick up a turret on the bottom side, which now CLG is trying to match up in the top. And Rush is still in possession of his flash, so it's all in the ability to outplay.
Right now he's just clearing the minion waves away, letting Balls get some of the farm here. Hai has already roamed up to the top lane. Bot lane outer is already gone, thanks to Stixxay and Afro leaving that lane earlier. It was Sneaky who got to solo push that and accrue some gold for the team. Sneaky, by the way, up 37 minions over Stixxay right here. This bot lane was absolutely crushing it for Cloud9. And we'll see where their next lane assignments are. Yep, Balls is going to recall. This duo lane's heading top lane. They want another turret to kill off. And of course, they want Balls to match up against Darshan in that bot lane matchup.
Absolutely, more of the lane swapping coming through right here. Items being built up. And I think it is time for Cloud9 to actually start prioritizing some dragons, but that is the opposite of what is happening in the game right now, with the AD carry and support both running top lane. Since Cloud9 has such a big advantage right now with about 4,000 gold, you'd expect them to go try and force fights, but they're actually still maintaining the split push game and kind of allowing Rush to farm up a little bit. Leaves them a bit vulnerable, though.
He is going to be Aframu, waiting right across the wall.
Oh, dear.
They're going to look for the 2-on-1 on Rush. He does have flash. He's going to get pillared away. He's going to dash across it. Piercing Light not going to land for much more, and Rush will be able to kite away successfully, but walks right in a cocoon from Xmithy. The Hexfinger pop burns the flash. Now Darshan on the wrong side of this fight, getting caught up by Balls. One more hit or two will do it. Pops another urn, but that's going to be another vital. The ulti will time out, but he's got nowhere to go. Balls gets the kill. Doesn't get the heal, though, and the team is here to keep him alive.
Yeah, not quite sure what Darshan was doing up in the turret of Cloud9 there, even though CLG was making a play in the jungle. Maybe wasn't expecting Balls to be there, but ends up getting turned around for a fairly easy solo kill there for Fiora. And Rush does have to burn his flash, but he survives a whole bunch of people and a face tank cocoon.
And it means that, again, there's so much time for the rest of Cloud9. Sneaky has just gotten a solo push 2 turrets now, literally without opposition, and grow his minion lead to 45 now. No one's opposing him. He's getting huge. Balls, nice riposte, gets away from any of the damage that could have come through. Aframu at half, Smithy coming to defend, but Hai is around.
Yeah, they're going to want to go. You can tell the aggression is there just because They're so confident from their prior plays, but it is a 2v3.
Lands the CC. There's the exhaust on the balls. He's got to be careful. He's on top of the pillar as well. Plenty of damage coming through. Jumps away. 400 health left. Smithy can't quite chase through, and of course, High had burned ulti, so he wasn't taking any damage either. But here comes Rush. Another pillar by Aframu, trying to block them away. Cocoon's going to get whiffed. And now Huhi has roamed in. Guess what? That means Sneaky is alone pushing the mid lane, like for the last 7 minutes straight.
A lot of pressure being created here by Cloud9 and CLG trying to keep up, but also a lot of risk being incurred by them as well. High headbutt pulverized straight in with absolutely no vision in the river and also missing people on the map. So they were also okay with it because they still didn't lose the 2v3 and really only had to burn the ultimate of High in the process. It speaks to how weak CLG is in the current game state. No fully completed items for Stixxay, not even a Cinderhulk enchantment on Smithy, and just massively behind on their major item breakpoints.
The only guy with a real completed item is Darshan with the Trinity Force and Huhi with the Abyssal Scepter trying to, survive the mid lane matchup. Actually only down 9 CS, so the mid lane's going okay-ish. Huhi, of course, having to deal with the gold that Jensen has from his 2 kills and 1 assist. Darshan, having crested level 9, having a Trinity Force, should still be able to one-shot cast minions with a barrel, so his farm will skyrocket in the near future. Gangplanks typically end the game with highest gold, even on the losing team. Yep. Wave clear by Stixxay. Turret will not yet go down, but it's precariously low on health.
And that's another thing that could be, contributing to this itemization difference being so huge. Like, there isn't the inflated gold by CLG, but it's still 5,500 gold. It'd be even more without the Gangplank. Just really no chance to defend that turret unless they wanted to burn their Gangplank ultimate, and even then it might not have saved it.
Yep. So Cloud9 doing so well against Counterlogic Gaming, 7-1 in kills, perfect in turrets so far, 3-0, and here comes Dragon number 1. Pretty late into the game, but it still will be the bonus stats, and that's going to scale throughout time. So, easy one there. I expect no smite, just the Renda at 500 to make sure all is well. High, by the way, splitting points between his E, the heal, and the pulverize, the Q. 3 and 3 on each. Smithy sadly missing a few more cocoons.
Whatever the opposite word for heat sinking is, those have been the cocoons for Smithy this game.
Oh, they knock, Aframu, they knock him right back up as well. High happen to tank, and wow! Never had a chance to act, even after flashing. It just didn't seem to matter. He could have ulted, I suppose, but maybe still would have died.
Yeah, just the ultimate knock-up and knock-back combo there from the Alistair. Headbutt, pulverized back. Oh, he flashed over the wall. Guess what? We got another knock-up coming through. No ultimate, though, on High, so he is vulnerable to burn.
Yeah, he burned it on that last engage, so he does have to be a bit worried. Not taking too much damage. Only 1 death so far from Cloud9. This Rush takes away the Krugs, and they can walk away safely with a kill, a little bit of farm, and an easy reset.
Yep, 7,000 gold. 3 turrets to 0 as well. So CLG really, lack of pressure. This is what CLG almost never has happened to them because they pretty much always win the lane swap game, but this time they just didn't get the lane matchups they wanted, lost most lanes, and haven't been able to recover with anything clever. Once they started initiating lane swap, lost more and more.
He riposted what he thought was damage, but he didn't riposte any CC, and that meant that once Cocoon was up and Smithy was in range, it meant the flash from Balls, who had chunked Darshan, but still lost more than he gained.
I still think job done for Balls, because all he needed to do there is avoid damage on the turret. And by the time they dumped all the damage onto Balls, the backup had arrived.
Fair point. So, lost a flash, kept the turret. And we don't really count summoners used for tracking things like perfect games. Of course, they've already given away a kill, so it's not that, but for CLG, a team that prides themselves on their macro gameplay, really, and that's how they've gotten most of their wins as an organization in the last year and a half. CLG really not allowed to get anything but 1 trade kill from an over-aggressive dive in the top lane.
Agreed. I mean, we talk about Cloud9's inconsistency between High and Bunny when they look like completely different teams. CLG's look like a completely different team between Saturday and Sunday in both weeks.
Forcing the flash away from Smithy. High goes in, losing a lot of health, but will retain the ultimate. He can just heal himself back up before too long, so no huge concerns there. But Cloud9 are looking to siege quite a bit more. They've got Rush split pushing the top lane. They've got Balls soon to split push the bottom lane here with Hydra and the makings of Black Cleaver. Rush does not find anyone to kill except for some minions, which he's okay with.
High also has 4 points in his heal already, so he can heal up much more quickly than other Alistairs may be able to. Less damage with his initiation on Pulverize, but more sustain as they're looking to seed up right now.
When you deal with a LeBlanc who can kind of poke you for free and get out, you actually need those health bars to come back up. I do understand the decisions. It's more quick engages or simply sieging better, and he went for the sieging choice. Splitting points either way. Jensen, once again, walking towards the mid lane. C9 going back and forth, trying to find an opening. Dragon, of course, is gone, so it's only tier 2 turrets these guys can kill. CLG playing defensively enough not to get caught out in any of these situations. At least not for the past while. And they continue to sit on their defensive wards. CLG actually have both of their jungle entrances controlled pretty well. You can't get behind their tier 2s without getting spotted. Cloud9 with a smattering of wards themselves. Tracker's Knife is on the Graves after all, so plenty of wards.
Heavily outnumbered here. But again, it's just Cloud9 walking around in these 2v3s, and they can't engage on Alistair for any reason because Sneaky's keeping position behind him. Can always just pull him back out and then continue the retreat. So it's really, this is the perfect champion for High to play support on. When we talk to him in interviews about some of the differences between playing mid or jungle, he's like, well, the difference with support is people can kill me, so I have to be careful about where I go, and I'm not stronger than other people. But at least with Alistair on top of the Callista, it gives him the really, really long leash for where he can go without dying. And even though he's lower gold income, the tankiness and the escapability is just greater than any other support in the game on Alistair with Callista. And it's, I think, one of the smart things that Lemon did in this draft. Yesterday, Lemon was very heavily criticized for the poke comp that they played really improperly. They didn't play it like a poke comp. They never had proper setup. But this time, they gave up a Gangplank, which is the #1 champion priority-wise because of his ban percentage in North American LCS. But they did that because they wanted to get their shot caller on his most comfortable champion, so he could be a shot calling force here. I think that's just really smart.
Yeah, so far it's been a completely controlled game by Cloud9. High has less gold, doesn't seem to care. Walks in, takes some shots, and says, "That's cute, I pressed E, you didn't do any damage to me." Balls has actually refused to kill that blue ward on that brush above him, but he's still getting the split push lead over Darshan.
Get it.
Yay! Okay, third time's the charm. But he missed that one, but it's okay. He face-checked the wall with Q. But Cloud9 sitting 7,000 gold up 23 minutes in. That is definitely a sizable lead. They're slowly wresting ward control away from the Baron area. High kills a blue trinket. Nice dodge by Stixxay. Predicting that he would get headbutt pulverized. He was right.
They do have to do something, though, because for about the last 6 or 7 minutes, Cloud9 has been very inactive as far as making objectives go down. They only had 1 dragon. They picked up the first dragon very late in the game, so the timer for 5 dragons would be extremely delayed. And all the while, Darshan is farming freely in the bottom lane without having to lose his turret. So here we go, Cloud9 making an aggressive call, but a Baron at 24 minutes is very difficult to take, and they will take a lot of damage in doing so. So still, Cloud9 kind of looking for that play that can break the game wide open, even though they already have a big lead.
Yeah, but it's so hard for them, of course. Counter Logic Gaming, you mentioned the difficulty of such an early Baron. 3 blue trinkets on this squad. Everyone except Darshan would be in range to use that to reveal Baron, so it's not very easy for Cloud9 to sneak that. Darshan actually getting finally a good trade on a Balls. Looks for it, gets the true damage out as well. Balls might lose this trade. It's going to be real close. Gets a lot of heals. Oh, it was close, but Darshan wins it after all. One last vital would have probably turned it around, but Darshan gets the damage he needed.
Yeah, a little heal at the end. He had removed Scurvy that heals more with missing health, and he used that little heal, then hit the last shot on the Balls, took him down. A nice solo kill by Darshan, and that is the looming danger for Cloud9. We've seen a lot of games in the past. This is why Gangplank is so heavily banned out, where a team is just holding even or even losing, but one nice barrel combo from a 200 or 300 AD Gangplank at the end, and the whole team dies. So he lands the first barrel while clearing the minions with the turret shot, and then also hits Balls with the true damage center of the ultimate right there. Even though Balls is dashing in the round, it's hard to get all the vitals when you're in such a tight corridor like that. And Cloud9 forcing the Baron with the teleport, but it's pretty dangerous.
And a pillar already slows down Balls. High in the front line is going to pop the ulti, but they're going to commit to the Baron. They're going to knock back everyone they possibly can. They've got Callista. This Ren should not go badly. Oh, that was dangerously close. The Baron still does go to Cloud9. Now, how's the follow-up on this fight? A lot of damage from Jensen. Gets Cocoon, though. Gets a heal, but might just go down. He stays alive for now. Darshan now attacked by Balls, and it's going to be tight. Still, no one yet has died. Jumping over the wall, back and forth, over aggression by Rush is the first kill of the fight.
4 flashes to escape that Baron, and they're still actually fighting. They're
not
trying
done.
to turn this around because CLG did get low, but they're going to lose a lot of Baron buffs during this.
All right, second kill goes through. The rest of the team cannot help High stay alive. 2 kills as the cost for Baron, and Jensen is going to be easily picked up next. A great pillar, and that's going to be Darshan picking up another kill. So 3 kills for Baron, and that gives CLG time to push.
Yet still 5 people alive, so the Baron backfires for Cloud9 right here. Trying to do it too early into the game without the proper prep basically just commits them into a 5v5, and they didn't even get the rend secure. That could have gone even more disastrously for C9. Looking at this, High spending so much time peeling, but then the culling comes down, and yeah, it was at 1100 by the time the smites and the rends and the Victor was used, so I'm not really even sure.
Smite Ren put it at 100 and Victor got it, I think.
Yeah, Ren just not that impactful on that particular Baron kill. And then they continue fighting here. It looks like Rush wants to get involved because, like, at this point, they could have actually had the Baron and just ran away with 5 people.
Yeah.
But Cloud9 was looking for the Baron and the game win, so really some impatience because this was kind of a nice move where they could have set up sieges on. Instead, High used his ultimate early, so he easily falls down. And because everyone was so willing to follow High, the bad call becomes worse.
Yeah. Rush got baited by remove Scurvy, jumped over the wall right as Darshan regained 50% of his missing health, suddenly wasn't killable anymore, and down he went. But Cloud9 off the respawn right away. They go into the mid lane. They've got Baron buff, and they've still got the gold lead. So in they go. Lead back to 6,000. Baron buff on 2 of their members, I believe. And that will be Balls and Sneaky, the 2 who are wearing those little purple dots that make minions really big and scary.
Yeah.
As I sweep some wards, they look for more. Whew.
Got to be careful, though. The later LeBlanc gets, the more she can just do that to an 80 carry. Do it twice. Gets her hammer gold. Congratulations.
And quite a long respite as well for getting sieged on. But mid lane still attacked. Look at that. The flash pulverized Darshan. Goodbye. A 1-for-0. Beautiful engage by High.
A lack of hesitation right there.
Sticks it once and oh man, gets another one. So Rush takes the wrong way out, and Magic Resist or not, doesn't survive Illusion. And the fight continues though. Smithy in the front lines. Jensen low. They send in High, who does not have an ulti, but he does get a knockup. A 1-for-1. It's 2-for-2 overall. Stixxay is going to drop to Balls, and Balls stays alive, so a 3-for-2 to Cloud9. Jumps the wall. He wants Afro. He gets the 4th kill of the fight. It's only Smithy alive. Cloud9 pushing right in. They've knocked the inhibitor turret, the inhibitor itself, and they've got still 3 members alive to push the base down.
Yeah, this could actually be the game. The Baron buff runs out, and the death timers aren't super long, so they're going to have to wait for the next set of minions, but this turret goes down pretty fast. It depends how willing they are to stay.
12 seconds to the next person, but there's no minions here. They could not win if they wanted to because the respawns will come in before the next minions do. Cena have to run out, but they got so much. They stretched the gold lead to over 9K. They won a team fight, and they've crushed the base.
Massive win there for Cloud9, and it did start with High's initiation there on Alistair. Getting Darshan out of the fight blocks their safety of wave clear. He got a little too close while trying to proc those barrels. High punished it, and then they continued to go in. So, see, he's just trying to get the double shot on the barrels to clear the wave. High recognizes that. He's in the team. Everybody dumps their damage on him. And at this point, it's CLG trying to get one back because Rush takes a bad path away from the rest of the team. And C9 still want to turn because they're keeping their aggressive edge. You don't really notice the Fate's Call pullback there from High, but it is enough to secure the kill on the block. And then once that happens, I feel like Afro should have actually danced back through the base gate on the other side once Ball dashed in, but I think he was pretty much dead to rights regardless. And good play from Balls on Fiora, but it's pretty much all set up by the Alistair at the beginning of the fight.
Well done by High. Finally the engages. 0, 2, and 5, not the most impressive scoreline, but he's found so many important picks for the team. So many good ways in. Once again, High getting caught out, but he's got the ulti. Pops it right now at half HP, and that won't keep pushing him lower. Bottom turret's at half health. Of course, Baron buff is gone, but 10,000 gold lead for C9 means they are still much more powerful than Counter Logic Gaming right now on the map. A good stun on a Rush. That's a lot of damage.
With the Alistair ultimate down, and 5 people from CLG in the bottom side, I would have expected that Cocoon to mark an all-in, but they're respecting the Fiora split push, and you can see they're a little hesitant to pull the trigger because one teamfight loss can mean the game. I still think that was a really good opportunity for them to fight because they're getting split pushed in multiple lanes with a down inhibitor, and now everyone just has to fall back.
Stixxay had to hold mid. Of course, only one Nexus turret, I believe. Going to make that much harder to defend than normal. Into the bot lane they go. The whole team is there. Balls is on the flank as well. Does not yet find the way in. CLG split the minions down, but Stixxay is now missing his ultimate, who he is as well for a short time. So it's a much lower cooldown than conventional. Darshan's still down from the previous fight in the bot lane as well.
Balls has his teleport on Fiora, but CLG gets enough damage out early, they can end the fight before the teleport would complete. So still an opportunity to make a big play if they want to go for it.
No Cocoon just yet. Jensen not really taking much damage either. Abyssal Scepter, Magic Resist plus the Q shield is enough to block most of who he's damaged. Back in they go. Fiora still in the top lane. Minions about to double stack in the mid lane. Someone's got to clear that pretty soon. They're starting to push in towards the base, and Darshan has to split his attention. The rest of CLG's in the bot lane one more time. 4 versus 4. Minions now actually reaching the Nexus turrets. Bot lane turret's already going down. Another all-in from Balls flashing to get this one. Aphromoo goes down to Rush already. It's a 1 for 0. Who he could be next. Stixxay right in front, and he's going to take so much damage from the Chaos Storm. Misses the ultimate still. Jensen gets the damage that he needs. A 2 for 0. And look at all the Ren stacks on everybody. Jensen getting jumped in now. They're going to look for as many kills as they can. Darshan does pick up 1, but they're already on the Nexus. They're already going to win the game. Cloud9 in under 33 minutes takes down CLG.
Yeah, just a new level of aggression when Cloud9 had that lead. They pushed into the base pretty hard at the end, and you can see they're probably not very happy about the Baron call they made partway through the game that didn't quite go right. But the rest of the game, Cloud9 has a lot to be proud of. They won every single lane against CLG, at least early on in the game, and then were able to close it out in a pretty quick fashion. 34 minutes and 46 seconds the total game time there, and Cloud9 moves to 2-2.
Really, really great stuff then by C9. It's Hai has said that it's a coincidence that Bunny is just as good as he is at shot calling, but Cloud9 with Hai looks this impressive every single time in our 2-0. Cloud9 with Bunny look roughly the opposite and are 0-2. Now I know there's the common perception that Hai can't wait to retire, but he said actually that in the new year with sort of the new team, that drive is still there. He still wants to play, but he's got to balance that with wanting to groom up Bunny Fufu as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's dragging his heels coming into the studio every day. That's not what it is at all. Even, there's some perception to that. It's just there's 2 versions of Cloud9, and right now one of them's working much better.
There's also a matter of how much Hai can actually practice, because he's had some pretty severe wrist issues in the past.
Yeah.
But at least when he can get on something like Alistar, you did not see mechanical shortcomings on that champion.
No.
Maybe on other supports he's not quite there, but if they can draft around him, there's no drop-off. So really an ideal composition and team setup for Cloud9 this game.
And the individual play as well was on point here from Cloud9. Jensen dodged practically every skill shot he could have. I don't remember him getting cocooned more than maybe twice, literally the entire game. Rush got the great early ganks in as well. That top lane tower dive was good. High pull Jagger walked away. Quick kill and a 6-8 at the very start. And you're seeing smiles across the board, even from Bunny, who's here from backstage. Didn't get play time in this game, but still happy he's got a win.
Cloud9 still very clear that they are a 6-man roster.
Yeah.
Bunny and Hai work together a lot.
Yes.
Whether it be working on mechanics against each other, working on strategies against each other. So whoever's in the game, Bunny's still a contributor off the bench in some way.
Right, and consider when you have a multiple-year veteran support like Bunny Fufu, he's given Hai gameplay pointers on his individual gameplay.
Yep.
Right? Hai did not learn to support this well all by himself. He's got one of the best supports from North America, helping him kind of coach through the role. So I do think both those players will have faster growths than you would normally expect in isolation. Bunny learning shot calling, Hai learning to support faster than they would have by themselves. And so that 6-man roster is helping. At the very worst, it's helping Hai transition to the role quicker. And this is one of the scary teams. And the question is, when will these two sort of merge together?
Yeah. And really, we don't know that question. It might never happen, because some players just can never work into the right thing. And for CLG, that team's also wildly inconsistent.
That's
now moving to 2-2. So a lot of questions still going forward.
And they don't have Hai to blame for it. They're just sometimes looking great. Sometimes
weird.
It's just not working either way. That's the way it is. Both these teams now at 2-2. And so let's toss it down to Riv, who's with C9's new jungler.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined by Cloud9 Rush after their victory over Counter Logic Gaming. Rush, my first question here. Thank you for doing this interview in English as well. Very awesome. Your early game communication was so clean, taking out Darshan over and over again. Was that kind of the objective? What were you guys talking about early game?
Basically, I and Hai most likely just want to kill people. That's all. If we see a chance of killing enemies on top or bot, we just do it. Turret doesn't matter.
Perfect. See hero, kill hero. Best way to go about it, as long as it's going great. Second question, looking at your personal play, you've obviously pushed yourself very hard. What goals do you have for this season?
Basically, on this time, like, is this January? Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was on TIP, no one expected me to play well, but now on, as long as people expect me to play really well, I just want to follow up on, like, match on their expectations. That's my goal.
That's perfect. All about the fans, all about the crowd, trying to give back to everything they've given back to Cloud9. And final question for you. There's a difference we see in gameplay with the change of the supports that Cloud9's been going through. What's the difference when High is in game, if you can answer that question?
Like, players could be kind of indecisive sometimes. Like, on our Baron thing, it looked really risky, but like with High, he just want to do that no matter what, like just commit on that. Sometimes they makes us play better because we play on one thing, like just kill Baron, don't miss might, just fight well or run away. I think that's why we performed well with High.
Well, you guys have an awesome support lineup all around between Bunny and High, so hopefully that can come around for both of those guys. You guys have been playing fantastic. Congratulations on the 2-2 for the second week coming in here, and best of luck in the rest of the season, Rush. Thank you so much for the interview. Right now, we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk where Dash and Kobe are ready to break that down.
Thank you very much, Riv. And we're going to try and decipher this puzzle here. The puzzle between the Bunny Foo C9 and the High C9.
Yeah.
And the success rates between the two of them.
So there are some things, Rush is talking there, where you can attribute it to High and you can be like, okay, yeah, he's good for shot calling. It's always great to have constant communication. Everybody feels, at ease, and it takes away indecisiveness for people. But then there are things like, when High is in the game, Jensen literally dodges 9 cocoons in a row from Smithy when he's ganking
He
in mid
put
lane.
on a clinic of
Jensen
how to tilt
it's
1v2s.
like there's a switch in his head, and he's like, High's in the game? Time to beast mode, and he just goes mad on them, and he 2v1s, he gets kills by himself, he goes for all these, plays up top.
Yeah.
Things that you're just like, you know what, High cannot possibly be involved in this play in some way.
When he's on the other side.
But but they only happen when High's in the game, and it's not even just this year, it's last year as well. Cloud9, the organization, sees it themselves. That's why they took Meteos out. They didn't want to, take Meteos out. Meteos is a god among North American junglers. But Cloud9 without High just was not finding the same success. And this is why, in war, in industry, in business, in sports, that great leaders are always so highly coveted and highly sought after, because you can't teach it. It puts everyone's hands there. You're like, how does he make everyone around him better?
It is innate to him, 100%. And I want to take a look at the Baron call that has been talked about, both in the cast and then by Rush there in the interview, because it is an example of the decisive shot calling that comes out of High, the commitment that the team then gives and the weight that they give to his call.
Yeah.
And you and I were sitting here contesting that actually the call for the Baron was a good one.
Right. The initial call and the escape, the initial call and the ensuing escape, like you'll see here, they're able to burn it down. High pops his ultimate, he zones the whole team. The only damage that gets through is the culling from Stixxay, which is, significant
And it's actually hitting the Baron, so
right.
it's helping.
Well, but then they're like, you know what, Cloud9, everybody has flashes here. Jensen's even able to get out himself. Right now, if you could pause it and I could draw on it, I just draw out arrows back to the base for Cloud9. Because right here, you're like, oh, it's a great call. Everybody can just go back to the base. Oh, but here come this is where all the calls go wrong.
Right.
Rush goes back in, and now High is going for a ward or trying to trap Huhi in there, who's a LeBlanc, which doesn't make sense anyways. But that's where it falls apart. But the initial thing there, they're able to burn down the Baron and everybody gets out, and they could theoretically have gotten everybody back to base there if they all try to escape. But then, sort of the domino effect of one mistake, a miscommunication, Rush and Balls jump the wall at the same time.
Cut that replay in half, and it looks a hell of a lot more impressive. But even still, the commitment to the call and the fact that they actually did secure the Baron is a testament to the way that the team plays when High is in the game. And this is now where I want to return to that discussion, about the difference between the two and maybe postulate as to why they are successful in the early games. When you do have a member on your team that you can put so much of your trust in as a leader. And this is what you did. It's been proven. If High was my shot caller, I would, unwittingly just follow every direction he gave me because it's been evidence to me that he's successful. And to a degree, that can make your early game easier because it lets you focus on the micro of yourself and not the larger picture.
And the interesting thing about this game is that actually this game, the early game, it was the 2v2. It was High and Sneaky in the 2 versus 2 that get the advantage. They blow summoners, get the summoner advantage in the top lane, then they call up Rush and it's an easy call for High. It's like, we just blew the summoners, we've got him pushed into the turret. This is perfect. And then High himself makes the play, headbutts into the wall, perfect delay there for the headbutt as well, lightens it up so easy for Rush. He's able to get a great start. You get Rush flowing, and then Rush had, one of the Rush games where you let him just go off and he's killing everybody as well, and it's...
The next part of this discussion, though, gets to the point about the Alistar for High, right? Because it's kind of the perfect quintessential champion for what he wants to do as the leader of the team, being the main initiator and shot caller. Great champion. What happens now if that champion does not make it into his hands? Because we did see a little bit of the finagling.
Let's see.
Yeah, right? And credit where credit is due to Lemonation and Cloud9 support staff for securing that Alistar by leaving up a GP was the first time we've seen it this split.
You bring up a really good point because Cloud9 took a lot of risks in this champion select. This is the red side risks that I like to look for because we've seen already even this week where red side team, they just roll over, they ban out all of these OPs that they can, ban out 3 OPs and then blue side gets their pick of the litter and we're left with whatever. But Cloud9, they target ban on red side. They don't roll over and, let you have your one first pick here. They leave up so many of the OPs that they get Graves on the backswing there, and the Alistar they're able to secure so early for High, which is so important for them. So Cloud9 took some risks.
And then they get a late pickup on the Fiora because they gave the GP over that went to the top.
The counter pick there for Balls was huge, definitely in the early and mid game for him.
So, it's funny. We give a lot of credit to High, but they're also, the champion select today went significantly better than yesterday's as well.
Honestly, unlucky for Bunny yesterday. They had some, they said it, he said it, High had said it himself, it's kind of, there are some coincidences, but there are also some things that do point to their
we've heard it from the team themselves that they don't actually see as big of a difference between the two shot callers as it would be evidenced by the way that the games are going currently. That being said, 2 games for each player, that's still not even that big of a pool to make judgments on.
For this year, very small sample size, but it's just the fact that last year that they made such an incredible run when they brought him back in. That's why people have so much faith in the mysterious High effect.
The aura of High. Well, anyway, a great win for them there. We're going to take a quick break, but while we get right back to preview our next match, Echo Fox versus Team Liquid. Don't go anywhere.
Dude, I should come up with some morale speeches during the game. 300. Team fight's about to start. Tonight, we're done in hell. And then I engage. That would be great.
Wait, do it.
Oh, man!
Well, that'll work well for you. Smitty comes in, gets chunked out. He's in the fight. None of them can do anything. Oh, man!
Poke him.
I can go it.
Does he have flash?
Stunning.
Nice, kill. Nice
job. I'm waiting. LeBlanc.
Nice.
I can't get to him. Okay. You guys are fine to push. Stick safe.
And look at all the Ren stacks on everybody. Jets are getting jumped in now. They're going to look for as many kills as they can. Cloud9 with High looks this impressive every single time in our 2-0.